a lawsuit filed today, 7 Ohio Board of Education members say changes to the state education system are unconstitutional. Good evening, I'm Reese Thompson.
And I'm Silver Barker. Welcome to Newswatch. The board members argue the education overhaul passed in the July state budget gives too much power to the governor by stripping the elected board of its power. Next month, oversight of the state's education department will start to shift to a director appointed by the governor instead of the board-elected superintendent. The lawsuit filed against the state and Republican Governor Mike DeWine seeks to stop these changes from happening. Alexander Local School District is asking voters to renew a 1% income tax levy. If renewed, the levy would go towards funding day-to-day operations within the district. The levy passed in 2020 providers around $2 million, about 11% of the school budget's total district. The last day to register to vote in the November election is less than 2 weeks away on October 1st. Ohio Democratic leaders are proposing their own version of state House and Senate district maps for the 2024 election. The Senate and House Minority Leaders map gives Democrats 11 more seats in the House and 7 more in the Senate. The proposed maps come after bipartisan redistricting commission has failed to meet because both parties haven't named their choice for co-chair for the committee. The current legislative maps have been ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court 5 times because they were determined to favor Republicans. The deadline for the new maps is this Friday.
Norfolk Southern is announcing new details about its plan to compensate residents in East Palestine. The railroad company is helping those in the city who have lost home value since a toxic train derailment occurred in the city last February. The new program will pay homeowners in the surrounding area the difference between the appraised market value of their homes and the sale price. But the details are still tentative. The Ohio Attorney General's office is still negotiating an agreement with Norfolk Southern to create a long-term fund to compensate homeowners. New campaign filings show most of the funding surrounding Issue 1 came from outside of Ohio. Protect Women Ohio and Protect Our Constitution were the major funding groups for the yes side of Issue 1, and they received only 7% of their money from in-state. On the no side, one person, one vote was the primary contributor. With around 17% of their funds from within the state, voters rejected Issue 1 last month, and both campaigns still have funds remaining. Ohio residents are being asked to check their fridge. American Foods Group LLC is warning about possible E. coli contamination in 58,000 pounds of its ground beef. Consumers best know the company's product as Green Bay dressed beef. The recall comes after a sample batch of beef tested positive for E. coli. The beef was produced on August 14th and shipped to distributors in Ohio, Michigan, and Georgia. According to the Department of Agriculture, there haven't been any reports of illness related to anyone eating the products. The USDA says consumers should return the products to the place of purchase or throw them out.
Residents near Jacksonville Village Park will see a large presence of emergency vehicles this weekend, but don't worry, it's just a drill. The Athens County Local Emergency Planning Committee and Athens County Emergency Management Agency will be conducting the drills at the park on Saturday. Residents of Jacksonville, Trimble, and Gloucester may see fire trucks, EMS squads, and other first responders. And now we'll take a look outside at College Green to see our beautiful weather tonight. So just looking at that, I mean, it seems like it's a bit not too many cloudy skies. I'm guessing it's warmer temperatures right now, but I mean, earlier this morning it was cold. So are we seeing those fall temperatures kick in now? Those fall temperatures were definitely on the main swing today. We're definitely on the colder side today, but that is not what's going to be happening these next couple of days. We're going to be looking at a warm-up. Definitely that's going to be happening. So that is what we're expecting these next few days. It was nice to have that little chill that happened today, but that is not what's going to be happening these next few days. Today, that temperature high of about 74, those mostly sunny skies are what's made it that very pleasant day throughout the day, going into kind of like the breakdown of how the temperatures rolled out this night. We're looking very cold last night. We're looking in the 40s, but once that sun came up, we're looking at those temperatures like we're having now. That current temperature, we're looking at 73 degrees out there.
we're going to be getting a lot colder tonight, so definitely have that jacket once that sun sets. Now we're going to be taking it back to Silver.
Thanks, Isabel. Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks is now the first place in Ohio to be designated a United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization World Heritage Site. It joins the Great Pyramid of Giza, the Colosseum, and Stonehenge, and 22 other locations around the world to receive this status. The earthworks consist of 8 monumental sites built by Native Americans around 2,000 years ago. The sites are located in Licking, Ross, and Warren counties.
Today, U.S. Senator Joe Manchin announced $500,000 to help support pipeline safety and emergency responses. This funding from the West Virginia Division of Energy Management will prevent leaks and maintain a secure transportation of natural gas. The senator stated he will continue advocating for resources to strengthen and protect communities across the state. Companies can now bid on rights to drill on state-owned land after a vote from an Ohio Department of Natural Resources panel. The vote determined that companies could bid on 4 parcels of land owned by the Ohio Department of Transportation. But anti-fracking advocates are pushing back against the decision. The environmentalists want all nominations rejected. But Oil and Gas Management Commission Chair Ryan Richardson says state law doesn't allow the panel to block the opening of lands for oil and gas exploration. Prices at the pump historically drop after Labor Day and the end of the summer driving season. However, that's not the case this September. Filling up the tank is hitting the wallet a little harder than usual. Gasoline prices rose to $3.88 per gallon nationally on Monday, according to AAA. That's the highest they've reached thus far this year, largely due to oil prices pushing past $92 per barrel. Although the current national average is below the all-time record high of $5.20 in June 22, they're 20 cents higher than they were at this time last year. Pump prices are now at least $4 or higher per gallon in 11 states, including Arizona, Colorado, and Oregon, according to AAA. Gas in the Golden State costs a mint. California commuters have seen them shoot up 49 cents over the past month. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says she expects energy prices will stabilize soon. When we come back, a look at the laundry list of crises facing the United Nations General Assembly this week. Plus, the emotional return of 5 Americans to U.S. soil.
And for weather, we are definitely in those fall-like temperatures today, but as that's what's going to be happening this week, that and maybe some rain coming up for your week whenever we come back at Newswatch.
Over 200 local newsrooms, over 3,600 journalists, a community of 300 million Americans. The NPR network is listener-supported, independent journalism in communities around the country. It amplifies more voices, more Americas, and takes all of us on new journeys. It takes all of us closer to home. It takes all of us.
Something's in the air, I hold my breath.
What you're doing is incredible. I'm so proud of you.
With 1 foot off the edge, I take a step. The moment's come, now is the chance.
I believe this is going to be your journey.
We are co-authors with the world around us.
Looking for me?
We've been here, and without us, there is no United States.
It's all about storytelling.
That's beautiful.
It's starting now.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
A major shift expected from the Federal Reserve this week, and it could mean good news for borrowers. The Federal Reserve is expected to pause interest rate hikes at a meeting tomorrow. Some economists say the U.S. economy is strong and we may not see another interest rate hike, meaning a break for borrowers looking to get a new credit card or a loan on purchases like a car or home. Economist Joe Bruzuela says the Federal Reserve doesn't want to tip the economy into a recession.
And the Fed, I think, here is very cognizant of the fact that it doesn't want to overdo it and tip the economy into recession.
But economists say there is still a chance more rate hikes could happen later this year, which could prolong the pain for borrowers.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are seeking more ways to minimize potential national security risks from artificial intelligence. Mike Valerio has more from Washington.
From Silicon Valley to the Senate,
we must equally grapple with the disruptions, ethical dilemmas, and potential dangers of this technology.
Experts described the need to regulate AI so that the breathtaking speed and breadth of tasks AI can perform helps, not harms, national security.
In the 21st century, the general or spy who doesn't have a model by their side is basically as helpless as a blind man in a bar fight.
Even President Biden at the UN General Assembly today, speaking of a need
to make sure we govern this technology, not the other way around, having it govern us.
The Pentagon's chief digital and AI officer told the House last week AI should not be viewed as an all-encompassing solution or a fearful spring of problems.
It is very important to remember that AI is neither a panacea nor a Pandora's box. And if we think about it that way, we're not thinking about it correctly and we're not going to be able to tackle the problem.
But what we've seen so far from Washington is trouble identifying which AI risks need to be regulated, largely because AI's capabilities are constantly changing.
AI's risks are broad because its applications are so broad, and these risks range from risks related to fraud and information integrity. They include risks related to safety and security.
I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
Russia's raging war in Ukraine, political instability in several African nations, and a series of climate disasters among the laundry list of crises facing the United Nations General Assembly this week. But as world leaders from more than 140 nations gather in New York to try to confront those issues, fractures among the global superpowers are likely to stymie any progress. Gloria.
With the litany of crises facing the United Nations General Assembly,
our world is becoming unhinged.
Hope of progress on critical global issues is dim.
And we seem incapable of coming together to respond.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres decrying the stark divisions, violence, and chaos preventing progress on significant global crises, like climate change.
Our world needs statesmanship, not gamesmanship and gridlock.
President Joe Biden echoing the demand for action in the wake of multiple natural disasters.
Together, these snapshots tell an urgent story of what awaits us if we fail to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels.
While also affirming U.S. commitment to upholding democratic values and calling on member nations to stand up against Russia as it continues to wage war in Ukraine.
If we allow Ukraine to be carved up, is the independence of any nation secure?
In historic remarks to the Assembly, Ukrainian President Zelensky pleaded for more support.
We have a real chance to end the aggression on the terms of the nation which was attacked.
And warned of consequences if Russia's power goes unchecked.
When hatred is weaponized against one nation, it never stops there.
While some question the actual power and influence of the United Nations, the need for global cooperation, according to Biden, is clear.
We know our future is bound to yours. And no nation can meet the challenges of today alone.
In New York, I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
5 Americans in prison in Iran are back on U.S. soil. Ahmad Shargi, Murad Tabaz, and Saimak Namazi, among with 2 Americans not publicly named, have arrived in Washington, D.C. early this morning. They were freed as part of a wider deal that includes the U.S. unfreezing $6 billion in Iranian funds. Their release is a diplomatic breakthrough after years of negotiations between the U.S. and Iran. Special Presidential Envoy for Hostage Affairs Roger Castrans says the group's return was emotional for him.
This much since I was a little kid. It was a chance to watch 5 different people interact, 7 people in total, interact in a way that was very amazing. I mean, this is the first time that they've had a chance to talk without being surveilled by the Iranian government in years. So to watch them kind of relax, lighten up, share laughs.
A senior Biden administration official says the return of the 5 Americans does not change the country's relationship with Iran in any way.
And for weather today, like I was saying, those fall temperatures really came into Athens today. It felt like 74 out there. I know it felt nice kind of going outside. Felt very September out there in southeast Ohio. Tonight, it's going to be getting on that cooler side, going to be, again, feeling very nice out there. You will need that jacket if you're heading outside anytime past sunset. But again, it does feel mostly fall-like here. As you can see in that local radar, nothing really in the southeast Ohio area. It's be generally clear. You know, it was a little cloudy there for a little bit, but other than that, it has been a beautiful day here. Tomorrow, we're going to feel less fall-like and more like how we were feeling these last few days before today. We're going to have that high of 79 out there and that low of 53. So in the day, it's going to be feeling very warm, a little bit like summer. It's kind of hard to say in September, but we are going to have those mostly cloudy skies out there, so make sure to enjoy it. What is causing these higher temperatures and kind of this clearing is this high pressure system that has just been kind of stuck on like southeast Ohio and on Ohio in general. It's kind of pushing any of this kind of low pressure, any of this kind of rain that has been happening out of our way. You can see that there's this system here in Chicago that's kind of trying to come towards Ohio, but it's kind of dissipating in northern Ohio, giving us some very clear skies. Even looking into tomorrow, it's still sticking around. It's giving us these nice warm temperatures, and it's going to be keeping it very clear here. Whenever you're looking into tomorrow night, still sticking around. It's looking very, very cool, and well, very hot and very, very clear here. This kind of system that's bringing up, this is the only thing that's concerning me for this week coming up. Any kind of rain that's going to be happening in these next couple days is not going to be there. But as the week goes on, we might be seeing those pop-ups in this 7-day. On Monday and Tuesday, that's the next time that we might see any more rain. But these next days coming up are going to be very clear and very hot compared to these last few days. You know, in the 80s, it's nice to see up there for this 7-day outlook. Now let's take it back to Silver.
Thanks, Isabel. More than 700 children were killed in car accidents in the U.S. in 2021, and of those killed, more than 36% weren't properly buckled up. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, in honor of Child Passenger Safety Week, Mandy Gaither has 5 steps to keep kids safe in a vehicle.
They can greatly increase the chances of survival in a crash, but car seats have to be properly installed. Safe Kids Worldwide says 5 steps can save a life. First, select the proper seat. Check labels to make sure it's the right one for your child. It varies based on age, weight, and height. And always follow manufacturer's instructions not only for the car seat, but also for your vehicle.
The most important thing is to figure out how your either seatbelts or lower anchors lock.
Next, make sure your child is facing the proper direction. Keep babies rear facing as long as possible until they've outgrown height and weight requirements.
The way that they're made, they help protect the baby's head, neck, and spinal cord until they get a little bit bigger.
Then move on to forward facing with a harness, followed by a booster seat until the child can fit into a seat belt. Third, focus on location. The back seat is always safest, as airbags can be dangerous to a child in a car seat. Next, adjust the harness appropriately. It should lay flat.
Those straps should come out about right at the shoulder level or slightly below for rear facing. If we have forward facing car seats with a harness, you want that right at or slightly above.
But follow manufacturer's guidelines, as the safest fit can vary with the car seat. And finally, make the seat snug.
Where you can't pinch the straps at the harness, and make sure there are no gaps in the rest of the harness either.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Coming up in sports, we'll take a look at 2 high school volleyball games going on tonight. That story's still ahead. And for the latest on Newswatch, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, we're revisiting Derby City to see which values have kept pace in the marketplace.
This is by far the best baseball I've ever seen on the roadshow.
That's nice.
Oh my gosh.
Kidding, right?
No, I'm not kidding.
Think you know which treasures are still ahead of the pack? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Louisville Hour 1.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
Better than ever, gonna be great. This is the moment that history's made. Nothing can stop us, ain't seen nothing yet. The lights are on and now the stage is set. This is the day a new dawn is near. The future's here. Welcome to the future.
If you want your life to get better, you got to fight for it.
Welcome to the future.
She just disappeared off the face of the planet. I want her to know that I'm not mad at you. Mom?
5 years ago, I was diagnosed with ALS.
Where is the mother of the bride?
Welcome to the future.
I am an American, and I have every right like anybody else.
You have to figure out and learn where you come from.
Future.
Get out!
On Finding Your Roots, Cyndi Lauper discovers a rebel.
I know I'm always fighting the man. Now I know where it comes from.
Jamie Chung's ancestor is honored.
No way. That's my cousin.
Yeah. And Danny Trejo's relatives journey to America.
I've got history. And Danny, they were on foot, man. That's heavy.
Finding Your Roots.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
Welcome back and happy Tuesday. I'm Andrew Bolby. The high school volleyball season is in full swing, and tonight there are 2 TVC Ohio games that our Ace Nation reporters will be at. The first game of the night pins the top 2 teams in the TVC Ohio against each other. Nelsonville York leads the conference with a perfect 5-0 record, while the Buckeyes have also won 9 consecutive matchups heading into this evening. NY has dominated so far, only dropping 2 sets in its first 5 TVC Ohio games. Meanwhile, Athens sits just 1 game behind the Buckeyes at 4-1. A single blemish on the Bulldogs' record came at the hands of Alexander last Tuesday. For Athens, they will be looking to rebound after losing to New Lexington on Saturday. Athens will need to be aggressive after losing both matchups to NY last year. The second matchup of the night is between 2 teams in the middle of the TVC Ohio standings. Megs will travel to Alexander to duel with the Spartans. After a slow start to conference play for Megs, the Marauders took down Wellston to earn their first conference victory of the season. Megs also beat TVC Hawking opponent Federal Hawking. As of now, the Marauders sit at 1-3 in the TVC Ohio. For the Spartans, they are 3-2 in TVC Ohio play, and they are coming off a loss to conference leader Nelsonville York last week. Both teams are looking to improve their records heading into the back half of the season. Don't forget to keep an eye out for all post-game content for all things TVC Ohio volleyball on the Ace Nation social media platforms. Ohio football is adding a major out-of-conference game to its 2025 schedule. According to FBS schedules, the Bobcats will play Ohio State in Columbus. The Bobcats are now set to meet for the first time since 2010. The programs have had a 3-game history, dating back to the 1999 season when OSU beat Ohio 40-16. Ohio State added OU to an already busy 2025 non-conference schedule where they are set to play both Texas and UConn. Ohio adds the Big Ten opponent to a stacked lineup of other non-MAC foes. Ohio State is now third in the Big Ten. Ohio State is now the 3rd school on the schedule for Ohio in the next 3 seasons, this coming after last year when the Bobcats took on Penn State in Happy Valley. I'll tell you guys both, I'm really excited to see Ohio take on Ohio State in a couple of years, especially with the way that they played this past weekend against Iowa State.
I am so excited to. As a Columbus native, those are my two favorite teams. So I don't know which one to choose, honestly.
I'm going to have to say the same. I mean, like, they're both just amazing teams, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, super exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when we return, how you can send Santa your Christmas list this year so he has time to check it twice. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Beneath the streets of London, a massive construction project is underway.
Crossrail, a huge new railway for London.
How do engineers tackle such an immense challenge?
Everything has to work perfectly.
We're never complacent because that's the day it goes wrong. Wow, wow, wow. That looks fantastic.
London Supertunnel on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
We are now officially in the second half of the regular season, and we have nothing but big games in the 7-4-0. Conference title races are heating up, and we'll be there to cover it all, on the field and off. Leading up to Friday, though, check out all our pregame huddle digital segments on our socials, and be sure to check in with all Gridiron Glory's social medias from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and the WOUB PBS YouTube channel. But we'll see you Friday night at 11:30, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
This is for you.
You got grit, I can tell you're never gonna quit. No, not even for a split second. Counting all your blessings. You got personality like Christmas got his presents, and I like it. Yeah.
I always want to create something that's gonna mean something.
That's fabulous. And I like it. Yeah.
Dare me to do something.
Don't stop, honey, gotta do your thing. I like it. Don't stop, honey, gotta do your thing.
I really want to show the world how beautiful our culture is.
There was more similarities than differences.
It makes us happy. It makes us feel good.
Yeah. So spread those golden wings, we're gonna shine like the stars. Got the
It is part of our unique story, all of us together.
This is our special time.
I like it.
Salute!
Honey, gotta do your thing.
We're going intergalactic.
Don't stop, honey.
We're going to make memories.
I like it.
Finally, tonight, the U.S. Postal Service's annual Letters to Santa program is now accepting letters. The program, which helps kids in need have a great holiday, is now in its 111th year. Kids can write a letter with specific details of what gift they want. The requests are put on a website. Generous strangers then adopt letters and send the gifts anonymously. The letters can be sent to Santa Claus, 123 Elf Road, North Pole, 88888. They need to be postmarked by December 11th. The website USPSOperationsSanta.com opens for letter adopters on November 20th.
And for weather, Athens here tonight, that overnight low is going to be in the 50s, so make sure that if you're heading out there anytime past sunset, really it's going to have a quick drop off, and it's going to be really cold out there tonight, so make sure that you bring that jacket. Tomorrow, those cold temperatures aren't sticking around. It's going to have that temperature high at 79. We're going to be feeling a lot warmer here in Athens. Those mostly sunny skies, make sure that you get out there, you enjoy this warm weather. This high pressure that we're having is really just staying around, and it's going to be making it very pleasurable here in Athens for these next 3 days and that 7-day outlook. Now back to Silver.
All right, well, that does it for our broadcast. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org or follow us on social media. Have a great night.
Support comes from Buckeye Hills Regional Council and Broadband Ohio announcing the